Just a short navigation with Xero. So for example, if you're a real estate company, you can actually add other organizations here, new companies, or even integrate your payroll processing with Xero. So use a payroll powered by Xero. So this is the dashboard. Business. So if you're a real estate company, this is very important, the short-term cash flow. And before you make do with this, we can also make do with the budgeting to see the actual budget or actual cost versus the budget and the variance. When it comes, it's most especially with the expenses. So we need to add all properties and have them categorized. So we can see all the invoices, and we click this, all the invoices being made from sales orders or direct invoices being paid and unpaid can be viewed here, the same with bills to pay, both paid and unpaid. If this is a company who sell products or services, and if you want to categorize or itemize your products at the same time the products that you bought, if this is merchandising, you need to click this. Inventory can make do with Xero, but it's best to have an inventory software and integrate it with Xero. All checks being made here. So for accounting, here's the bank account when you do reconciliation in advance. This is the report. And in report, here we can make do with a journalization. This is not QuickBooks. The difference of Xero from QuickBooks and QuickBooks, there are a lot of features. And you can easily see it on screen or even navigate it. Here, you need to make it, there are a few features you need to see it through. So for the journalization, you need to click this. And go to manual journal. We can create a new journal and we can see all the journal entries we created in here. Drafted in void, repeating, and so on. So that's for the report. Aside from the actual report, just the financial statements. Here in advance, here we can make categorizations, track categories, most especially for a real estate company, or locations, warehouse, branches. And in the reports, it is where we can see the budgeting. And we can also view in here the actual cost versus the budgeted cost and its variance. Here we can change or add tax rates, add chart of accounts, or even change the taxation periods or the accounting periods. We can file 1099 report. So this is just for those vendors who are qualified for NAC or even miscellaneous. For Miscellaneous is for agents, specifically for agents, brokers. There is no need to add a freelancer in here, especially overseas freelancer. But if it is local freelancer, it is still subject with 1099 under NSC. Sales tax report. Customers, suppliers. We cannot add it here. We go to all contacts. You hit contact. The designated, even though we create a new contact under customers, it doesn't mean that it's a customer. It will reflect when you click the customer feature. In all contacts, it is where we can categorize or add it in a group of customers and suppliers, for example. Okay, I hope it's interviewed. See, it is not in here. So this is adding a group for employees and contractors. This will be for the 1099 purpose. But we can create a new group here and subject to customer. And the best for that thing to be added in the customer tab is to make a sales invoice. You can see it's not here. But if we create a sales invoice, this is for So this is what I mentioned a while ago for properties specifically that need to be tracked by categories. You create it on categories and it will gonna show in here. When you browse it down, you can see tracking options. And you approve it directly. Choose to pay it or not. If it has already been paid, since I subject that this day, this will be paid with the same date to your bank account choice. Add payment. So here in the contact, we already marked that as part of our customers by creating an invoice. In all contacts, we cannot just create a group. That group employees and contractors is intended for 1099, and you can choose which name and which is which. Seeing a customer that Abraham is included. So for this case, when we go to 1099, report and set up 1099. We can select a group or contractors. And here we'll subject that, or that will be under contractors account. This contractors expense. We can also make do with like contractors alone, create a group and have it named contractors. Contractors dash plumbers. Or contractors dash NEC. That is for NEC 1099. Just to separate NEC and 1099. We got both of them. For example, in real estate agents, brokers are under 1099 miscellaneous. But for property management, property managers, that will be NEC. Now for the reports. You have here budgets. By the use for trackers, we can select the budget under what property. And we can add new budget. We cannot add a new budget just easily here without adding it on our tracker. That cannot make do. And we also have budget reporting where we can see actual costs versus the budgeted costs and the variance. When you say variance, that's the difference of the money we spend for the next month, next year, from last year, or from last month. So if we can see that we made a loss in our, for example, March profit for this particular property compared to February, we will notice the not just the difference of the numbers, but more on we see and understand why we create a loss and to which expense we made the most and how much will be the percentage of it increase. If it is a variance favorable, that would be a decrease in expense, for example. And if it is adverse, that is an increase in expense. Having a profit, for example, you don't have sales on February, rentals in February, and you get a profit by March. That alone, a difference of numbers on this is a positive and it's favorable variance. And you see the percentage of it. And you can compare it to the percentage of the expenses that we made for a specific property. That would be the lost out of it, or profit, a net profit out of the what percentage of the sales from its expenses. That's with the total variance. But for each, again, we can also see the growth or if we reduced this expense. That's real.